Hello, and welcome to another edition of As the Blade Turns. Well, this morning, Yuzuru Hanyu held a press conference and made his big announcement. Japan's Yuzuru Hanyu, considered to be one of the greatest male figure skaters of all time, has announced his retirement. Hanyu, 27, became the first man in 66 years to win back-to-back singles titles at the Olympics, at Sochi in 2014 and Pyeongchang in 2018. Struggling with injuries, he missed out on making it 3 in a row in Beijing, finishing 4th at the 2022 Winter Games. "I'll no longer be compared with other skaters as a competitor," said Hanyu. The skater, known as the Ice Prince, is determined to carry on his quest to land the quadruple axel in front of an audience, though. In Beijing, he promised to be the first to compete it in competition, but after failing to do so, has now promised to pursue his goal in exhibitions instead. An emotional Hanyu told a packed news conference, "What I want is to remain someone who continues to work hard toward dreams and goals. Ice shows tend to be considered something elegant and fun, but I want to remain more of an athlete. I want people to see me as I continue to fight." Hanyu's elegant skating style won over the fans as well as the judges. Despite rarely giving interviews and having no presence on social media, he amassed an army of dedicated followers known as the Fanyu, who showered the ice with Winnie the Pooh toys after his routines. As his fame grew, so did Hanyu's haul of medals, as he also won men's singles titles at the World Championships in 2014 and 2017. His status as a national icon in Japan was underlined when in 2018 he became the youngest recipient of the country's prestigious People Honor Award. In recent years, Hanyu has been dogged by ankle ligament problems, which have curtailed his ability to compete on the world's biggest stage. He tumbled twice attempting the quadruple axel in Beijing and said afterwards, "It feels like everything has gone wrong this time around." Well, as someone who has covered Yuzuru Hanyu throughout his career, I have to say that his eternal quest for excellence and really his courageous fighting spirit has made providing commentary on the sport more interesting. He's an athlete who continually meets the intensity of every moment, and has really done that and pushed it to new heights. I will always remember his impressive performance at the 2010 Junior Worlds, when it was clear that he, along with Ilyinik and Katsalapov, were not just stars at the junior level or new stars in skating, but superstars in the making. And while he did win gold over favorite Patrick Chan at the 2014 Olympics, and he once battled back from a horrific accident at the Cup of China to win the Grand Prix final, I don't even think that he had even come close to his potential in those moments. I will best remember his streak of 4 outstanding world record performances that he did back to back to back to back during the 2015 NHK Trophy and the 2015 Grand Prix final that really pushed the sport to new heights. Then the next season, when Nathan Chen was setting the world on fire with his quad jumps during the 2016-17 season, Yuzu landed the first quad loop in competition, and he really set a new standard of excellence in the free skate at the World Figure Skating Championships. Now, while an injury put his quest for a second Olympic gold in doubt, he emerged at the 2018 Olympic Games in Pyeongchang with a mental strength we won't soon forget. And he really continued that drive for the next 2 seasons, continually displaying new elements and combinations until the COVID pandemic really halted that momentum. And while we knew that this day would eventually come, his legacy will surely live on. His presence has made events more exciting and fun, and he says he wants to continue to be more of an athlete. Given that he can truly write his own ticket and create his own events and tours, I hope he creates his own events where we can see Yuzu and Nathan Chen, maybe Javier Fernandez and Ilya Malinin continue to battle it out in Japan. Jump for jump, quad axel attempt for quad axel attempt. The future belongs to him. As every figure skater has taken to social media to post tributes to Hanyu, the Russian press has also reached out to every single skater, coach, and choreographer for their thoughts. Honored coach of Russia in figure skating Alexei Mishin commented about the news of the end of Yuzuru Hanyu's career. The 2-time Olympic champion announced this today at a press conference. "This message should not cause me joy, to be honest. Hanyu left big sport, but remained in my heart and my memory. I think that the same as the millions of other people," said Mishin. Olympic champion and ice dancing Tatiana Navka spoke about the end of the career of 2-time Olympic champion Yuzuru Hanyu. Yuzuru Hanyu is the greatest figure skater on the planet. People like him are a rarity. Hanyu couldn't jump forever. This is a huge burden on the body. Everyone knows when it's time to leave. We will rejoice in his career among other professionals in the show. I hope that we will have the opportunity when Yuzuru will be able to please our Russian viewers, said Navka. Evgeny Plushenko commented on the news about the end of the career of two-time Olympic champion Yuzuru Hanyu. Today I learned that my good friend, outstanding figure skater, the biggest star in the history of figure skating, Yuzuru Hanyu, announced his retirement. I appreciate everything he has done for figure skating. I would like to wish him all the best in his professional career and hope he makes people all over the world happy with his performances in the show. Good luck in the future, my friend Yuzuru-san, wrote Plushenko. Former Russian figure skater Maxim Kovtun spoke about the fact that two-time Olympic champion Yuzuru Hanyu has retired. It is a pity that a whole era is leaving figure skating. It was a great honor for me to compete with Yuzuru, to fight him on the world stage. It was a priceless, amazing experience. I will always remember him as a friendly person who was always glad to see us. I remember once we crossed paths with him at some competition, and he shouted so funny, "Kuftan!" and ran to hug. Yuzuru changed figure skating. This phrase can be said about him absolutely sincerely. He is a real legend. There is nothing to add. Only after the skates they threw out 1 billion toys to him that even the ice was not visible, and they gave him a standing ovation, Kovtun said. Well, the Russian press even reached out to Elizaveta Nugumanova, who commented on his decision to end his career. A long time ago, when Hanyu just entered the international senior level, we saw and noted his performances with his mother that the boy skates great. As a result, the same Yuzuru became a two-time Olympic champion. He skated beautifully. I followed his skating throughout all the seasons. He went down in history. He is admired by many, including me. By the way, there is even a photo where he gives me a happy Winnie the Pooh. It was taken at the Grand Prix final in 2016. I have always loved watching him perform. He is truly a legend in our sport. I hope that everything will work out for him at a new life stage. Choreographer, director of ice shows Ilya Averbuk, considers the decision of two-time Olympic champion Yuzuru Hanyu to end his sports career to be reasonable. Yuzuru Hanyu, undeniably an outstanding figure skater, is a legend that has become part of the golden galaxy of great figure skating. He's old enough already. For him, other tournaments, except for Olympic gold, do not make sense. Understanding that by the next Olympics he will be over 30, objectively, I think this is an absolutely sound, reasonable, and smart decision. Hanyu in Japan will be idolized for life. I wish him success in his future career, and wherever he starts. He is a very talented person. It was practically clear that he would end his career, but now he has done it officially, said Averbuk. Honored coach of the USSR, Tatiana Trusova, spoke about the end of the two-time Olympic champion Yuzuru Hanyu. Hanyu has had a very long career since 2010 in international competitions. He was and remains a crowd favorite. It's just time to think about the future, and he decided to do his show, leaving the professionals. Who will take Hanyu's place? The one who will delight with his individuality, dissimilarity to others, and is technically perfect and unforgettable, said Trusova. Her pupil, Salt Lake City 2002 Olympic champion Alexei Yagudin, commented on the news that Yuzuru Hanyu had completed his sports career. Hanyu had a brilliant career as an athlete. Good luck to him in the future. There are always people who can not only win, but also surprise. For me, Yuma Kageyama from Japan was a discovery at the World Championships in Stockholm. He performed in the most gorgeous way at the Olympics. Or the American Ilya Malinin, who is the only one who jumps the quadruple axel. It seems to me that it is better not when you have more or less good in amount of 10 people, but something outstanding and extraordinary in the amount of 2 or 3. Hanyu is a 2-time Olympic champion. It's just effing amazing. And at the 3rd Olympiad, he took 4th place. Everyone ends sooner or later. That's life. If earlier there were bright stars, like Stéphane Lambiel, Nathan Chen, no offense to them whose I won't name, now it is Yuma Kageyama, Shoma Uno, Yuzuru Hanyu. It's time for one to leave and another to appear. I would like Malinin to gain a foothold, because it is impossible not to admire his technical arsenal. Others will appear, but it's better when only a few delight the imagination. And they will, Yagudin said. Well, two-time world champion Irina Slutskaya reacted to the news about the end of the career of two-time Olympic champion Yuzuru Hanyu. Did he end his career on time or not? You know, this is completely uninteresting to me, Slutskaya said. The 12th best tennis player in the world, Daria Kasatkina, became the second Russian athlete in a month and a half to come out. The Roland Garros semifinalist, in an interview with Vida Kravchenko, first thanked the soccer player, Nadezhda Karpova, for her courage. Nadia, respect. You're a beautiful one. I was happy for her. And not only for her, for people, especially for girls, who probably, it was important to hear this. Young guys who really face such social problems, they need support. I think this is very important. When someone from the world of sports, some influential figures, not only from the world of sports in general, influential figures in general talk about it, it becomes easier. I'm a little nervous because it's never been so frankly from me on camera. I'm actually okay. Kasatkina, 25, who lives in Spain, said she has a girlfriend. But in Russia, non-traditional sexual orientation remains a taboo, and therefore incomprehensible topic for people. Shortly after the interview, Daria Kasatkina posted a photo with figure skater Natalia Zabiiako. Damn, we have so many taboo topics in our country, and there are more important topics that are forbidden, so there is nothing to be surprised at. Here is the phrase, if you want to be gay. If you want, if you don't want. You know, you didn't. Well, what kind of nonsense is this? Really, there is nothing easier, it seems to me, in the world than to be straight. Given a choice, who would choose to be gay? Who would want to make life difficult for themselves? Seriously, especially in Russia. In Russia, it will never be possible to walk holding hands. Well, damn, judging by the way things are going, never. We had some progress not so long ago, approximately when the World Cup was some progress. But then it was blocked. It was blocked. That road blocked for repair work. Living in the closet for a long time is difficult and does not make sense. It will keep spinning in your head until you say it. It is clear that everyone chooses how to open up and how much. You have to live in comfort with yourself, the most important thing. The rest should be messed up. Kasatkina has been gradually coming out. Last spring, in a frank conversation with Sports.ru, she admitted that she was open to everything, but still looking for herself. Women know better how to cast lines correctly, how to hook. They know how things work. Psychology. Naturally, a girl knows better what a girl needs. I'm still in the know. As I said, both there, and there are pluses. Why not? Relations with a girl are okay for me. Probably with a girl, the connection is still more connected. You understand each other better. Still, there are a lot of misunderstandings between a man and a woman. I think there are fewer between women. Emotionally, too. After all, women are more emotional. And at the level of emotions, I think they understand each other better. Of course, I would like to understand myself better, to know exactly what I want. Naturally, I want to know. Probably I will never know for sure, 100% who I am and what I need. But at least a little bit of yourself every day would be cool. I don't know. Ask me in a couple of years. I'll answer you. It didn't take a couple of years. Well, Daria Kasatkina posted a photo with Natalia Zabiiako, and they captioned the frame with the emoji of a purple heart. Zabiiako's Instagram has a post with joint photos with the tennis player. Earlier, Kasatkina came out and confirmed she has a girlfriend. Natalia Zabiiako, together with Alexandra Enbert, became the silver medalist of the Olympic Games, the bronze medalist of the European Championships and the World Championships, and a silver medalist of the Russian Championships. Well, as TASS and Match TV love to do, they have naturally called every Russian commentator in the sports world for comment, and they have all let us know exactly how supportive they are of the LGBT community. Commentator Dmitry Guberniev spoke out about Daria Kasatkina's coming out. Now, just a note, this is the same Dmitry Guberniev who did speak out when Terry tutberidzhe commented on my Instagram, and he said that Terry needs to be more open. Well, now he is speaking out about his take on someone coming out as a lesbian. The Russian tennis player said in an interview that she was dating a girl and later posted a photo with the figure skater Natalia Zabiiako on the social network, signing it with a heart symbol. Dmitry said, "Daria is great. I believe that you can love anyone. Only children should not be touched. Let her be happy. Personal life is personal, so that no one sticks their nose into it. I love her as a great tennis player. I don't care who Elton John lives with, as long as he writes great songs, or Thomas Daly, as long as he jumps into the water greatly. This is their personal business, as well as the personal business of Daria Kasatkina." Well, he then added, as an adherent of a wonderful old-fashioned sexual orientation, I am very happy for her, said Guberniev. Well, the Russian media also reached out to Sambo 70 president Rinat Lyshev, who, as always, delivered gold. Sambo 70 president Rinat Lyshev spoke about the coming out of Russian tennis player Daria Kasatkina. The fact that Kasatkina decided to declare her unconventional orientation publicly is her own business. In my opinion, homosexuality is a cruel joke of nature. I believe that these are unfortunate, sick people, and they should be pitied. Will recognition affect her career? In general, this should not affect her in any way. Moiseev somehow continued to sing, became a star. The people accepted him. We must be humane to the manifestations of nature, so there is no point in condemning it. Such people need to be treated with some compassion, as if they were an unhealthy person. Would I be surprised if one of the current figure skaters of the Russian national team makes the same statement? Of course I'll be surprised. Highly. But we, teachers, must be ready for any turn of life. Wisdom will tell us what to do, Lyshev said. Well, we do have to be ready for any turn of life in this blade-turning world of figure skating. And Natalia Zabiiako has actually been skating for the last several months with Zach Dalman. Now, they were preparing to debut at Skate Ontario later this summer, but has apparently been called off. Now, officially, the Canadian Figure Skating Federation withdrew a request about the Russian Natalia Zabiiako, and this was announced by the Director General of Russian Figure Skating Federation, Alexander Kogan. The Canadian Figure Skating Federation has previously contacted us about Natalia Zabiiako and has already sent a refusal of her request. At the moment, Zabiiako is a Russian figure skater, Kogan said. In May of this year, it became known that Zabiiako intends to resume her career and skate for Canada in a pair with Zachary Dalman. In Russia, Zabiiako paired with Alexander Enbert, and they became the silver medalists of Pyeongchang 2018 as a team. The couple ended their careers in February 2020 due to health issues of Alexander Enbert. Now, it is true that Skate Canada withdrew the request for the release, but it's not because Skate Canada didn't want a figure skater from Russia, which is sort of implied. I spoke to Bruno Marcotte earlier today, and what actually happened is after returning from Barcelona, Zabiiako decided that she would rather return home and live there, going through this difficult time. And a week later, Zabiiako and Kasatkina came out on social media. It seems that there's definitely a lot going on in both of their lives, and perhaps it was not the best time for her to be starting a new pair in a new country. Now, personally, I think this is a huge loss for skating. Imagine the brother of TikTok star and pageant queen Gabby Dalman skating with an Estonian-turned-Russian lesbian who happens to date a Russian tennis player who is considered to be one of the nicest women on the women's tour. And by the way, when is a Russian ever considered to be the nicest to anything in Western society? We like our Russians blunt, and we like them aggressive. And it's though we prefer to live in Rocky IV. Now think of what we missed out on. We missed out on Zabiiako, and perhaps Zach Dalman sitting in the box at the US Open, rooting on the Russian women's tennis star. Think of Sports.ru covering this. Think of the fun Zabiiako and Daria could have had with the Russian media. They could have invited all of their figure skating friends, the favorites of Sports.ru, because not only does Sports.ru love to report on Westerners, they love to report on gay Westerners and write think pieces, asking if this phenomenon is coming to Russia next. Their explanation of Pride Month during June 2021 is truly one worth revisiting in the archives. You have to think of who Daria and Natalia could have invited. Caitlin Weaver, Guillaume Cizeron, Amber Glenn, Jason Brown, Jeffrey Buttle, and that ice dance team who skated to Annie Lennox. Well, it is surely a missed opportunity. This team could have competed against the perpetual bridesmaids, Evelyn Walsh and Trent Michaud, and the very intense Diana Stellato and Maxime Deschamps. It is a true loss for the sport, which on a day when Yuzuru Hanyu retired, can't even get its act together to name its Grand Prix assignments. We wish Natalia and Daria both the best. Never one to be shy to comment, honored coach of the USSR, Tatiana Trusova, commented about the news of the coming out of tennis player Daria Kasatkina. Usually, personal life concerns only the person to whom it belongs. But if Dasha decided to say this, then she believes that there are people next to her who are able to understand her. All this does not surprise me. I do not support Kasatkina, and I do not condemn. This is her own business. Of course, people will have different reactions. Someone will condemn Daria, and someone will accept her for who she is. For me, the main thing is that she plays tennis well. Another interesting note that we learned from Natalia Zabiiako's attempt to represent Canada is that the Russian Figure Skating Federation apparently has meetings twice a year where they consider whether or not a Russian figure skater should be released. These meetings take place reportedly in June and in December. So, if Diana Davis is to receive a release, it wouldn't happen until December, which would happen already after the domestic figure skating competitions, which would take place in the US, that the Russian media has already reported that Diana Davis and Gleb Smolkin may participate in. So they would be able to participate in those under sort of a provisional status if it is deemed that they would be allowed. Now, then if they wouldn't get a release in December, which the way things are going seems a bit unlikely, it would then take place to June. Now, let's think about it. After June, they would have already been out of figure skating competitions for about 15 to 16 months from the 2022 Olympic Games. Given that they would then have to stay out for 2 years if Russia didn't release them since the 2022 Olympic Games, they would then be able to compete in February of 2024. At that point, they really wouldn't miss much other than the 2023-2024 Grand Prix season if Russia is not allowed back in international competition. They would then theoretically be able to represent the US at the 2024 World Figure Skating Championships, or they would be able to represent Russia at the 2024 World Figure Skating Championships should Russia be allowed back into competition. So, if they are to participate in domestic events from the US, really the only events that they would miss out on competing in would be either the Europeans, which Russia can't participate in anyway, or the Four Continents Figure Skating Championships and the 2023 World Figure Skating Championships if Russia doesn't release them. So either way, it's getting to a point where it may not actually matter for this couple whether or not they will represent the US or Russia. It's interesting because it all depends on whether or not Russia will be allowed back into international competitions, and it largely sees that as long as the invasion in Ukraine continues, nothing is changing. Now, Deputy Roman Terushkov explained his position on the change of sports citizenship, which actually received some criticism from coaches Irina Rudnina and Tatiana Tarasova. He previously stated change of sports citizenship for national team athletes should be equated with treason. An interesting discussion has unfolded over the past 3 days regarding my words about sports citizenship. Here it is necessary to explain a number of nuances that interpreted by critics, as they liked and saw fit. A special military operation is underway, and our soldiers are fulfilling their sacred duty to protect the world from fascism, which has flourished on the territory of Ukraine, the duty to protect the territorial integrity of our country, its sovereignty. The athlete primarily protects and represents the interests of the motherland, stands for the flag, anthem, the coat of arms of the country. This is the spirit of the sport. That is, the athlete is the same defender of the country. Now, in order of suggestions, 1. If an athlete has decided to compete for countries from the list of unfriendly countries, those countries that are now helping the regime in Ukraine, then I consider the change of Russian sports citizenship to citizenship of these countries a betrayal and treason. The punishment must be commensurate with the act committed and may differ from the one currently established. 2. If an athlete decides to change the sports citizenship of Russia to the citizenship of countries that are not included in the list of unfriendly countries, then it is necessary to establish the rules for the transition. This can be done after the sports federation of the country where the athlete is moving compensates for the cost of his training incurred by our state. The calculation procedure must be established by the government. All cost standards are calculated by the type of sport and by stage of sports training. 3. If an athlete decides to change the sports citizenship of Russia to the citizenship of friendly countries, such as, for example, Belarus, he can do this freely, while no compensation is paid, wrote a member of the Committee on Physical Culture and Sport of the State Duma of the Russian Federation on a Telegram channel. Well, in other news, the sale of the collection of non-fungible tokens, NFTs, of Olympic champion Anna Shcherbakova set a record for the sports industry in China. Lin Jun, CEO of the Beijing Global Dynamic Media, spoke about this. According to him, sales reached about $237,000 US. The idea to develop a collection of tokens for Anna came from one of our partners. It's owned by a large industrial corporation, Geely Holding Group, which is engaged in the production of cars and phones, but also in blockchain technology. They knew that we were working with Anna's official Chinese TikTok account and had commercial development rights in Russia, so they approached us and were very excited about the prospects of this project. I think that this is a really good opportunity for Anna to try her hand at the emerging field of non-fungible tokens because she had never issued them before, either in Russia or in other regions in the world. Giadaverse is a leader in this area, so they approached us and we launched a project very quickly called Born to Skate. The first photo we chose is when Anna is 6 years old, and she is officially participating in the competition in a Pink Panther costume for the first time. She's very cute in this photo. The second photo is her performance with the Firebird Free program. This program is very famous because people were impressed with her change of costume during the number. The third photo is her victory at the World Championships in the 2021 season. Anna did not feel very well then, but she persevered and finally won her first World Championship gold medal. The fourth photo was taken when the figure skater won the Russian Championship for the third time in a row. This is very valuable and memorable. The fifth photo is unique. It is taken specifically for this project. On it, the figure skater is depicted with a gold medal of the Winter Olympic Games in Beijing in her free program costume. The photo was taken in Moscow, as there was no such photo in Beijing. We have prepared prizes for fans. For those who bought a set of 4 photos, we sent the 5th one with the gold Olympic medal as a bonus. So we decided to thank Anna's fans for the support they give her. In fact, Chinese fans know a lot about Anna. They pay attention to what she does every day. They know where Anna goes, how many points she scored on her exams, what new programs she introduced. Shcherbakova recorded a short video for each photo, where she tells what each of the events depicted means to her. Also attached to each photo is a message from Anna's parents or sisters with words of support addressed to her. As part of the project, 5,000 tokens were issued for each of the 4 photos. The price of each one was about $11.80. In fact, in the first 24 hours after the launch, the amount of token sales reached almost 1 million yen, and the total sales reached 1.6 million yen. All 20,000 Anna tokens were sold out. Thus, a record was set for the speed and the amount of NFT sales in China for one person from the sports industry. It's a miracle because some time ago, the whole token market in China was not very good. But Anna can move forward against the trends, grow against the downtrend, and that's very good. This is enough to show Anna's great influence. She is indeed extremely popular in China. In the future, we will also try to do a similar project with her to meet the needs of her fan community in China. Well, one Russian figure skater who is not getting an NFT right now from Evgeny Plushenko is Russian figure skater Anastasia Zinina, who revealed that at the Evgeny Plushenko Academy of Angels, she had disagreements with second coach Dmitry Mikhailov, which led to her leaving the group. Everyone says that we had a fight, something else. To be honest, we had a very warm relationship with Evgeny Viktorovich. After the Championship of Russia, we rallied even more strongly and worked together. But there were some obstacles in relations with the second coach, because of which I had to leave the group, said Zhinina. Zhinina confirmed that she was referring to Mikhailov, but did not disclose the details of the disagreement. We will not be specific. It was an as passed out of the skater. We were working with Evgeny Viktorovich, and they managed to put on 2 new programs for me. I even showed a short program at the Union of Champions. By the way, I really liked performing there, and in general, many thanks to Evgeny Viktorovich for all the shows, including the New Year ones. An extremely useful and pleasant experience, although sometimes it was hard. Well, earlier, 2-time Olympic figure skating champion Evgeny Plushenko commented on the expulsion of Anastasia Zhinina from his academy. Zhinina was expelled from the academy because she refused to follow the coaching instructions. Anastasia had an injury. She was forbidden to perform jumps. But the athlete did not obey the coaches. For her, the opinion of her mother was more important. We have our own coaching staff. Our specialists are responsible for her health. In the current situation, we cannot be responsible for her health, which is why it was decided to expel Zhinina. There are enough precedents in our sport when athletes ended sports because of their independence or the influence of their parents. In our academy, such things are unacceptable, Plushenko said. You have to think about it. A skater who is trying to jump against the wills of the coaches. I'm really reminded of a scene in the Japanese documentary about Evgenia Medvedeva, 1 in a Million, where the skater removes her soft cast when she had a broken foot prior to the 2018 Olympic Games, and then gets on the ice to practice. Beijing Global Dynamic Media plans to organize a tour in China with the participation of Russian figure skaters Anna Shcherbakova, Alexandra Trusova, and Kamila Valieva. This was told by the CEO of the company, Lin Jun. According to him, the popularity of figure skaters in China is high. We are actively planning a tour of Russian athletes, such as Anna Shcherbakova, Alexandra Trusova, and Kamila Valieva in China, which will actually be very beneficial for them in the future. Many Chinese fans friendly call them Sanwa, that is, 3 Wa. The word was created at the end of the surnames of the skaters. So we hope that Sanva, Shcherbakova, Trusova, and Valieva will soon be able to come to China to participate in the ice show in order to fulfill the desire of many fans and give them the opportunity to see the performances of Russian skaters live, because they skate incredibly beautifully and impressively, said Lin Jun. Well, with a note here, justice for Alyona Kosternaya. Remember when it was her initial that was part of the Troika, when she was a part of the AAA, or as the Russians called them, Tshk. We have to think that this is a real slap in the face to Kosternaya, who not only was left out of the Olympic Games, but also left out of the Chinese version of their surnames, Sanva. She cannot even compete, as Kosternaya doesn't even match the new word that was created. Well, Deputy Foreign Minister of Russia, Sergei Vershinin, said that Russia will fight attempts to isolate it in the international sports movement. We take note of those attempts to isolate Russia, including in the international sports movement. For us, this is a negative reality, and we will continue to fight it. Now, we are working hard to use, among other things, the sports potential of such associations with the Belarusians, the CIS, and the SCO. In these countries, in these regional alliances, we are becoming more and more visible at the international level. It's where most of the world's population lives. The Ministry of Sport of the Russian Federation, with which we closely coordinate our interaction, is actively working with this range of countries. Thus, we are getting serious international events, which in my opinion will become more and more popular. Well, given that the ISU has moved Skate America from an arena in Las Vegas to a training rink in Boston, and the fact that the Grand Prix assignments have not even been announced, these alternate reality Russian events may be the only things taking place. Well, want to know, will you be watching the Russian Grand Prix? Given that all of the Russian athletes are performing in shows and not in serious training right now, what do you expect from the athletes? Will these be a mix of junior and senior and professional competitions? Will they be a showcase for Dr. Shevetsky? What do you expect from them? Leave your comments below. Now, just a note that we thought we would be hosting a This and That for the announcement of the Grand Prix assignments, which were rumored to be coming out today. If not, we will be back anyway this weekend to discuss all of the news of the sport. Thank you.